I am audible. Good afternoon, everyone. Our team. I am Amit.
I Saurabh.
And I, Shairi.
Will take you through the different types of flotation machines used by our industries. With your permission, we are starting the presentation. Next slide. Verifying you through the contents. First, flotation. Second, principles of flotation. Third, flotation mechanics. Fourth, flotation machines. Fifth, types of flotation machines. Sixth, industrial flotation machines. Seventh, summarized table of flotation cells. Next slide. Flotation, a separation process. Flotation is a physiochemical separation process that utilizes the difference in surface properties of the valuable minerals and gangue minerals. The process is used to concentrate the value into either the floats, that is direct flotation, or into the tails, that is reverse flotation. Various reagents are used in order to drive the flotation process through the change of surface chemistry. Next slide. Looking into the mechanism of cloth flotation by example, we suspended the ore in solvent and collectors. Fine oils, fatty acid prevents the sulfide particles from getting wetted by waters. On blowing air, agitating the mixture, froth bubbles are formed, and sulfur ore are gets attached to these froth bubbles, and froth bubbles are formed and sulfur ore get attached the froth bubbles and floats upward carrying sulfide ore and collector with it, while the gangue and the impurities are left behind. Then the froth is skimmed away, dried, and in this way we get our froth particles. Next slide. As we saw in the video, the principle of flotation majorly involves the following points. First, air bubbles are introduced into slurry. Second, some minerals attached to the air bubbles, that is surface of mineral, must be hydrophobic to attach to air bubbles. Third, those minerals are carried to surface of slurry due to buoyancy. Fourth, the stable froth holds the mineral. Fifth, froth is collected at overflow launders. Next slide. Enlarging the components, we find a motor device powering two pulley at the top, one that is driven and other is driving pulley. Then there is a bearing body, outer launder and agitator support beam, a tank, shafter, inner launders, impeller and stator. Air is forced through the top pipe into the tank, and then motor starts op- operating both the pulley which turn and rotates the impeller to create bubble. With the passage of time, the froth is collected at the upper shaft. The hydrophobic minerals attach to the air bubbles which float, and collects upwards. Next slide. The mechanics of flotation machines comprise of first grinding to liberate the mineral particles, second reagent conditioning to achieve hydrophobic surface charge on the desired particles, third collection and upward transport by the bubbles in an intimate contact with air or in nitrogen. Form, fourth, formation of stable froth on the surface of flotation cell. Fifth, separation of mineral-laden froth from the bath that is flotation cell. Next slide. Broadly classifying into three mechanisms. As evident from the figure, the knead is inserted into the cells where the materials are selectively attached to the air bubbles. Secondly, the materials are entrained in the water which passes through the froth, and finally physical entrapment between particles in the froth attached to the air bubbles which get collected as final concentrate and the froth into tailings. Next slide. Here an illustration of the process how minerals are collected on the bubbles. Next slide. Moving on to our topics, flotation machines. Flotation machines constitute the basic equipment for useful mineral recovery from the non-ferrous ores and other raw materials by flotation, whose primary function is to make hydrophobic particles contact and adhere to air bubbles, thus allowing those particles to rise to the surface and form froth. Next slide. Here a short GIF to detail the entire mechanism of the machine. Next slide. A flotation system comprises of first chemistry component, that is collector, frothers, activators, deficients, pH. Second, equipment components, that is cell design, agitation, cell bank configuration, deficients, cell bank control. Third, operation components, that is feed rate, metrology, particle size, pulp density, temperature. Next slide. A flotation machine must ensure first, good mixing of pulp for maximizing bubble particles frequency. Second, appropriate aeration and dispersion of fine gas bubble to provide uniform aeration throughout the volume of the machine. Third, sufficient control of pulp agitation in the froth zone to ensure suspension of collector-coated particles. Fourth, efficient mass flow mechanisms. Apart from these, appropriate provisions are made for feeding pulp into the machine and also for the efficient transport of froth concentrate and tailing slurry away from the machine. Next slide. Factor affecting machine selection. First, metallurgical performance as represented by a grade and recovery curve. Second, capacity, ton per hour per unit volume. Third, operating cost per ton of feed, power consumption, maintenance, direct labor, etc. Fourth, ease of operation. Now I shall request Sari to continue further.
Next slide. So, going into the types of flotation machines, we are going to discuss the following types of industrial flotation machines, namely number 1, electrolytic flotation units, number 2, dissolved air flotation units, which can be categorized into vacuum flotation, pressure flotation. Number 3, dispersed air flotation units, which can be again categorized into number 1, mechanical, which can be again classified into froth removal type and cell connection in series. And secondly, pneumatic, which is classified into flotation columns. Next slide. Moving on, electrolytic flotation units. Electrolytic flotation is the electrochemical version of traditional dissolved air flotation. It is characterized by its mechanism of oxygen and hydrogen bubble formation due to water electrolysis. Advantages and disadvantages of electrolytic flotation units are mentioned in the slide. Next slide. Looking into the mechanism. Electrolytic or electroflotation is based on the generation of hydrogen on oxygen bubbles in a dilute aqueous solution by passing direct electric current between two electrodes. Electrical power to the electrodes is supplied at a low voltage potential of 5 to 10 volts. Next slide. Dissolved air flotation. Dissolved air flotation works by attaching small bubbles of air to suspended solids. The bubbles are generated by saturating a recycled stream of water with air under pressure and then releasing the pressure rapidly to produce clouds of microbubbles. They can be further classified into vacuum and pressure flotation. I would be discussing the mechanisms with the help of diagrams. Next slide. An industrial unit is shown here. Pre-treatment includes screening of gross solids, pH adjustment, coagulation injection, and flocculant injection. Whereas post-treatment, on the other hand, requires pH treatment. Raw water enters through one inlet and the treated effluent is let out through another inlet. Next slide. Vacuum flotation. As we can see in the figure, the process stream is saturated with air at atmospheric pressure and introduced to the flotation tank on which a vacuum is applied, giving rise to the generation of air bubbles. The process can be run only as a batch process and requires sophisticated equipment to produce and maintain the vacuum. But pressure flotation, on the other hand, consists of pressurizing and aerating process stream and introducing it into the flotation vessel that is maintained at low atmospheric pressure. The reduction in pressure results in the formation of fine air bubbles and the collection of fine particulates to be floated and then removed as sludge. Next slide. Dispersed air flotation. Dispersed air flotation involves the generation of air bubbles either pneumatically or by mechanical means. In both the cases, relatively large air bubbles are generated. In order to control the size and stability of air bubbles, froth are added to the flotation devices. Dispersed air flotation machines are broadly classified into mechanical cells and pneumatic cells. Next slide. As we can see, the mechanical machines are characterized by mechanically driven impeller which agitates the slurry and disperses the incoming air into small bubbles. They are of two types, froth removal type and cell connection in series, the details of which I will explain in the next slide. Next slide. The cell requirements of mechanical machines are maintain all particles in suspension, dispersing fine air bubbles through the slurry, promote collision between particles and air bubbles, provide stable region below the froth, and provide sufficient depth of froth for drainage. Next slide. Looking into the mechanism of froth removal type. As we can see in the video, a portion of the mixture of the ore which is being measured is taken into the flotation machine. Water in the test tube is added. The machine is then started and then lowered down, and the part is rotated to create agitation in the mixture. As we can see how bubbles are being formed. Then chemicals such as NaOH is added, pH is measured. Starch is then added, and along with starch, some other chemicals kept in test tubes are also being added. With all the test tubes being poured, all the chemicals are mixed. Froth is generated, which is then slowly collected in a container. The machine is then switched off. Water is then sprinkled to clean the machine thoroughly from all the sides. And finally, the rotor is being taken up. The leftover part is then collected in a separate container as sink. Moving on to the next video, which is the cell connection in series. We see a mixed row flotation system. It is a new flotation solution which cleverly combines two technologies in one row, that is mixed row positions. Next step, alongside WEMCO. Let's take a closer look. By combining two different technologies in the same row, we can exploit the unique characteristics of each to maximize row performance. The exceptional performance of next step comes from the rotor and stator being perfectly matched, which delivers the best energy dissipation and maximizes recovery. The slurry comes in through the feed box and is directed into the rotor-stator combination at the bottom of the tank. The air pushed through the hollow shaft is dispersed into bubbles at the bottom. Particles attached to the bubbles then move up to the froth phase, where they are removed as a concentrate. The flow, stream and turbulence increases bubble particle attachment to improve recovery rates and concentration rates, as well as lowering energy consumption by up to 40%. With the WEMCO machine, slurry is directed below the false bottom. It is then pumped up through the draft tube to the rotor. The rotor injects air from outside and forms small bubbles. The particles then attach to the bubble and move to the froth region, where they are removed as concentrate. With the rotor positioned high in the WEMCO, bubble particles aggregates only have a short distance to travel to the froth. The recirculation process continuously pumps the slurry through the draft tube and into the rotor, maximizing the attachment of particles to the bubbles. Next step machines are placed at the beginning of the road, where easy floating material is recovered using the lowest energy possible, while WEMCO is placed at the end of the row to increase both coarse and fine particle recovery. The number of forced air and self-aspirated machines placed in the row is tailored by application, which offers us greater flexibility for optimized recovery. Next slide. Moving on to the pneumatic machines. Pneumatic machines are those which either use the air entrained during pulp addition or the air blown in or induced. The main features of pneumatic flotation are: number 1, the mechanism of collision and adhesion between particles and bubbles, which reduces the required residence times. Second, low turbulence. Third, low drag of fine iron mineral particles to the froth. Fourth, generation of small diameter bubbles with high collection efficiency. And lastly, simplicity of operation and maintenance due to the absence of moving parts. Next slide. Pneumatic flotation cell. As we can see in the video, the components of the pneumatic flotation cell, namely aerator, self-aspirator, slurry, distributor, and gooseneck are displayed. Next, feed, froth discharge, bypass for recycling are also displayed. An unique feature of the level of the compressor, which is adjusted to facilitate the flotation process and increase the number of bubbles. This is one of the advantage of pneumatic flotation cell. Next slide. The features of flotation columns are: pneumatic flotation type, which uses a column of pulp in which air is injected at the bottom and the feed is added counter-currently near the top, and as a result of which the residence times are usually short. Now I would request Saurav to take you through the rest of the presentation.
Now, at CompuCell, the OK impeller mechanism is designed with a hemispherical shaped impeller consisting of horizontal disc on the top which is attached to a number of narrow vertical slots tapered downwards. The impeller has separate slots for air and slurry movements. Industrial water treatment is designed to remove inorganic compounds from industrial water waste streams. At the start of the process, incoming wastewater streams are led to a buffering pond in order to equalize the effluent quality. From the pond, the effluent is pumped into the CompuCell opt-out precipitation reactors. During this process, precipitation chemicals are fed to the reactor together with a portion of clarifier underflow sludge. The efficient up top 3000 agitators give uniform and low shear mixing, providing a high volume of effective mixing. Optimized agitation with seeding and exact process restrict scaling tendency. It guarantees good product quality and purification result. Product slurry produced during precipitation is further led to an auto attack clarifier patented feed wealth technology together with advanced equipment design result in high clarify overflow and high sludge density at the underflow. Clarifier overflow uses gravity to descend into the process water tank from where it can be recycled back from for use or discharge to the recipient waterways. Part of the clarifier underflow is recirculated back to the neutralization reactor for solid shading purposes. This will decrease reagent consumption and improve sludge quality and dewatering properties later in the process. The excess slurry is pumped to the filter feed tank and onwards to the Utkampu filter units. Filter can include belt filters or pressure filters. With a pressure filter, it is possible to achieve liquid concentration as low as 20%, which ensures lower amounts of lost water and dischargeable solids. Filter cake can be discharged through a filter cake discharge system. Likewise, for example, a lorry for transportation to final solid disposal area, filtrate produced during filtration can be laid to produced water tank together with the clarifier overflow. Remora can be recycled back for use or discharged to the recipient waterways. Tempo Fagergrain sale. The absence of surging on the surface is one of the characteristics of Fagergrain machine. The fade enters the sail through a circular port in the bottom and is drawn up into the rotor by the action of lower impeller. The suction exerted by the lower impeller draws air down into the pulp at the same time. The combined effect is the aerated pulp through the rotor and setter into the outer zone. The rapid compression and expansion of the mixture produces intense agitation and vary through aeration. We can see that the upper portion of rotor draws air down the standpipe for through mixing with pulp. Disperser breaks air into minute bubbles. Lower portion of rotor draws pulp upward through rotor. Larger flotation unit include false bottom to the pulp flow. Danvers DR sail. Considering the next type of flotation machine, Danvers DR sail, whose mechanism I would be explained through the diagram on the next slide. In the Danvers DR flotation machine, the pulp is introduced through a feed box and is distributed over the entire width of the first sail. Circulation of pulp through its sail is such that intense agitation and aeration occurs as the pulp comes into the contact with the impeller. Low pressure air for this purpose is introduced down the standpipe surrounding the shaft and is thoroughly disseminated throughout the pulp in the form of minute bubbles, thus assuring maximum contact with the solid. The liquid flows along the sail bank and passes over a wire and directly enters the unit via a feed pipe and feed hood. Liquor is discharged radially from the impeller through the diffuser and is directed along the sail base and recirculated through the ports in the feed hood. Jamson sail. The Jamson sail is a high-intensity flotation sail. A Jamson sail consists of three main zones: the downcomer, the tank pulp zone, and the tank fourth zone. Looking into the Looking into the mechanism, intense contact of air bubbles and particles occur in the downcomer. Feed is pumped through the slurry lens orifice, creating a high pressure jet. The jet of a liquid sears and entrains air from the atmosphere. Removal of air inside the downcomer creates a vacuum, causing a liquid to be drawn up inside the downcomer. The jet plugs the the jet plunges into the liquid column where the kinetic energy of impact breaks the air into the fine bubbles which collide with the particle. The second zone, which is the tank pulp mineral laden bubbles disengages from the pulp. The design velocities and operating densities in the zone keep particles in suspension without the need of mechanical agitation. In the last zone, the tank froth zone, the grade of concentrate is controlled by froth drainage and froth washing. Cells are designed in, to ensure an efficient quiescent zone that maximize froth recoveries. Summarized, these are a summarized table of the properties of industrial flotation machines. These are our references. With this, we conclude our presentation. Thank you.